We are at Madrid, Spain. I'm getting ready to come in, and I am first being told by this guy that no photo. No photo. All right, we're going on a little like 2 to 3 mile jog. We are about 24 hours out on a marathon, right? So, hi Casey. Say hi. She's like, fuck, I hate when you put on video. Oh, look. So we're gonna run around these streets of Europe. I honestly took a cab from the airport right to the hotel. I was up for probably like 40 hours, I would say. So I literally just ate some food, passed out, and then got up just a little bit ago. So light jog, and then we're gonna go over to the Expo to get our bib number, check in, get pumped, huh? Woo! All right, here we go. What's going on, my fellow humans? Coach Paul Young here. We are at the Madrid Marathon Expo, getting ready to get the bib number, and then I'm gonna walk around, see what kind of swag we got today. So come with me, baby, vamos. 3,389, all right. So in an email that they sent me before the race, like before I got here, it gives you a number on there. You check that number out. That number is going to be the number that you're going to come get to right there. So just so you know. And this might be the way it's set up in other places, which is why I'm going to give you as much detail as I can during this. But it also might not help you at all if you're running this in Berlin, for example. I don't know. We got it, baby. Here's the first one. So the number that I got in my email is my actual bib number, 3,389. All right, so now off to see what other kind of swag we can get. This isn't really swag, but I love this. After you get your bib, you head on over to get a t-shirt. So just go over to the marathon. They have a marathon, half marathon, I think a 10K going on. So once you get that, they'll mark your little bib that you've been to that station. Then you head over to go over here to the swag station. Once you get done with the swag station, you end up at the fuel station. So those are the 3 places that you gotta go to get checked off, and you can go anywhere that you want to after that. So I wanted to show you guys something. So this is the Mortons. So what these are your hydration packets. And then they have 100 calories, but we also got the ones that have 100 milligrams of caffeine in them as well. So this tells you when, now they might be overdoing it so that they can sell more, but I went ahead and followed this formula. Got one for the day before, this like hydration drink mix, and then there's also a 3 hours before the race mix. So we're gonna take off at 9 a.m., so at 6 a.m., along with some good breakfast. That's what we'll be consuming. And then around every 6 kilometers, it says. So now that I'm in Madrid, like everything will be in kilometers anyway. So it's nice to see that they have these listed out for you. And we're gonna test it. So Casey and I have actually been taking these already, right? Because Casey, notoriously, doesn't fuel properly. So I was just with one of her running mates. He's from New Zealand, and he said that she ran an entire race on, I'm not gonna tell you the energy drink, but it was an energy drink, and that's all she ran off of. So not the greatest, and I think that we have a strong shot at making it at our time tomorrow. One, because sheer determination, and she'll just wanna just stay with me, because I'll be like, stop being a little bitch and catch up. And then 2, she's gonna like properly fuel today, and more importantly, tomorrow. I'm gonna be coming out with a program that's gonna talk to you about all of this stuff. So if you're interested in running a marathon within 4 months, this is gonna be the program for you, especially my Chicago people. You're gonna be able to have this program beginning in June, which which is when you should start training for the Chicago Marathon. It doesn't really matter what fitness level you're at. I'll get you to complete it. We actually headed to a grocery store now because in another video I explained like what my routine has been on food, the nutrition, and especially for the morning, because I think that's like the biggest one. The rest of it I've been eating random shit in Vietnam, and Casey's been kind of eating, right? So what has been your typical diet?
Just a lot of carbs and protein.
She's saying everything I want her to say right now. Really, it's probably more like salads, as many as she can, and then as soon as she gets on the, extra croutons, and as soon as she gets on the phone with me on a Zoom call, and she's like, oh yeah, just over here gorging pizza, Paul. So far today, I've eaten 2 pizzas, and I took a picture of the breakfast, but it was an omelet and a lot of fruit. We are going to get oatmeal, bananas, and peanut butter, because that's my preference. But we were talking about earlier that Casey's done, what, 14 marathons?
14 marathons.
Man, 14 marathons in 6 different countries. What's been your favorite one and why?
So my favorite course was Paris. It was just beautiful. There was obviously all the sights to see, like the Eiffel Tower and the Arc, but they also had a lot of green, which you don't expect in a big city. But my favorite race has been Berlin. I killed it there, so and it was beautiful as well.
So the course beauty, but then also like the time, right?
Yeah.
And then for time, and this is kind of a sensitive subject, right? Because it's hard to talk about goals that you have, but we have a goal of getting sub 3 hours and 30 minutes. So I told Casey like to visualize 3 hours, 28 minutes, and 34 seconds is like the specificity that I'm actually shooting for. And then she has 3:28 on your phone, yeah. Correct? And then like the Spain flag. So, and those little things, by the way, are just little hints to your mind that like this is the goal. And we've joked around a little bit. And what I love about her spirit about this has been that even if that doesn't happen, it's been great training for it, and it's going to be nice. But like I honestly know that she's done the work. Besides the eating, but I've been force feeding her a lot.
What's going on, my fellow humans? Coach Paul Young here. Hey, so if you're enjoying this video, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, because I am just getting started on this trip around the world. I don't know when I'm going to stop, but I definitely have 10 of the countries at least lined up. And then I'm going to be posting videos about fitness, nutrition, the excursions that I go on, and just my overall experience traveling with Remote Year. Also, if you want to run that marathon, go ahead and check out that description. There's a link that you can click on to get you started on your marathon training program journey. Designed an amazing program, light on the running miles, heavy on the strength, so that you can stay safe and also get a good body transformation. So looking forward to helping coaching you through that process of that marathon, and go ahead and enjoy the rest of this video, yeah?
So the proper nourishment, right, means everything. So this is going to be the first one where Casey actually properly nourishes pre-race and during the race, because I'm going to be with her the whole time. Yeah. She doesn't even like these Mortons that we're going to be taking in. They're not the best tasting. They really aren't. They're kind of like a goo, but they contain all of vitamins and minerals that we're looking for. Got to fill the muscles up with as much glycogen as possible. So for everybody, that's a little bit different, but the point is carbs on carbs on carbs. Now, for a poll here, you can comment below, but Casey thinks it's pronounced carbo loading when you're eating a ton of carbs. I would argue that it's called carb loading, but you let us know in the comments below. So tomorrow, what we're shooting for is about every 6 kilometers, and I'm gonna eat more than this, or fuel more than this, is you take one of those, Morton. And we practice that because it's not just about doing it race day, you gotta practice. Why do you have to practice it? To bust the thing out of your pocket, to open it, and to consume it, all while still keeping your pace. Because you would be surprised, and here's one of the things that we've also worked on. What I get annoyed with some runners is they like to hit pause on their watch a lot while they're out doing their runs. Isn't that true, Casey?
So true.
And people even joke and be like, hey, if you pass out, I'll pause your Garmin. It's not gonna actually prepare you for the race very well, because what you're gonna get used to is the clock stopping. In the marathon, the clock doesn't stop. That thing keeps going no matter what. So you have to learn to consume the nutrients that you need, and also take your breaks when you need to. I've done more than a couple times where I will walk for a little bit, 20 to even 50 seconds, and just breathe, because I know how my body responds to that. And if my muscles are really sore, they, because of my training and continued training and interval training, know how to really recover in less than a minute. So just a tip for some of you out there. So let's talk a little bit more about your best race, and leading up to it, what has been the difference in training with me during this time and what you did then?
Yeah, so on all my other races, all I cared about was distance. I didn't care about speed, really. I just wanted to get as much distance as I could. And in reality, that was actually really making my detrimental to my running. We've done a lot of speed training, short, really fast distance. I have hit times I never thought I could, and we've fueled so much more. I feel way more prepared for this race than I ever have in my life.
But still more nervous than any other.
Yeah, I'm so nervous. And doing the slow runs is something that we both learned during this training, which we didn't think would help, but apparently everybody does it. You have to go way slower than what you think and move. You have to be able to have a full conversation with your heart rate, which is
137 to 143 beats per minute. And our pace ended up being somewhere in the low 9-minute paces, which for that pace should keep you around that 8 to sub 8-minute mile, which is what's going to get us to our time tomorrow, having that, right? Yep. But it's been reaffirming during times of doubt that to go back to these numbers and say, hey, no, look, remember, we did these. We've done a 15-miler at a 38 pace. Yep. We've done halves marathons at almost 7:30. We've done 5Ks. I mean, I've done 5Ks in sub 20 minutes. And Casey's done 5K, those sub 21, right?
Yeah.
Or right around 21, which is great. These are all numbers that she's never hit before. All right, so we are in line to use the porta potties before race. It's about half hour before race time. Casey and I did a little Wim Hof breathing, and still just a lot of loading up on oxygen right now. I mean, that's what my biggest thing is. You can do the other stuff, and I can't run anymore to prepare for this. But what we can do is focus on breathing, loading up with oxygen, depriving it a little bit at a time, so that it can actually get better at processing it. So that's what I do pre-race. That's what we're doing pre-race. You can tell she's kind of nervous. Here's the cool thing about marathons, man. They see what you got as far as grit at the end. Because Casey came out of the porta potty, and with 10K left, it was just my body's shutting down. And I was like, oh, no, it ain't. My ego is too big to handle you quitting on me now. Let's go. And she still trucked it out. and thinking that we were gonna come in. She was thinking we were gonna come in at like 3:45, 3:50, because like having to stop is like, that's minutes every time. And it was more like a pit stop, like it was like not more than 60 seconds each time. But if you take those out of this, you know, then it's sub 3:30. But like, here's the thing, like Madrid has some hills, and I'm talking about 2 kilometers at like just not a crazy pitch, but then they also have like ones that are like this in the middle of it, like towards the end of it. I mean, it was a tough run. And like, I've humped as a ranger, I've been around, I've done some runs, but like this one was a smoker. I couldn't be more proud of this girl, because like the grit to like know that you're not feeling well. She threw up, right? And then this is where it's like having a coach that's kind of an comes in handy. They're like, oh, we ain't doing this. You ain't quitting on me now. We come too far. I work too hard. I don't even like this shit, and I'm doing it. So you better get your up here. It worked though. Because the belief is there now. The belief that qualifying for Boston is there. Even if we didn't do it this time, huh? She keeps crying. Oh my God, I can't believe I did that. That was great. And like, I couldn't be like more proud, because I wasn't sick, you know? Like, it's a different thing to like feel that kind of defeated and just being like, and like still she trucked through it. So speaks to the woman she is, man. As that was a run. Except for she keeps crying, you know? Get your together. Making me look bad. Lock it up. Have a great day, man. We made it. We're alive. I don't know if I'm gonna get up from this position though. I think I've been sitting here for too long. They're gonna have to wheel me out of this. Have a great day. Literally sitting there going, you're gonna eat that whole pizza. And so she took off the cheese, because she didn't want like a lot of dairy, which I think most humans can understand, except for me. I'll smash that. But now we've been walking around, and don't get me wrong, if we started doing some sprints up and down this, we're gonna know that our legs are really tired. But coming up and down stairs, not so bad. I can't give you specifics about how many carbs we're eating. The thing is, it was just like eat a lot, right? To fill the muscles up with glycogen. And then during the race, we took those Mortons. And I think the only other thing you had was a little bit of Powerade that I forced down you that made you sick. Which, like, whoops. But she said, no, I can't. I know to take it. Because I knew how I felt too at that point in the race. With the heat increasing the whole time, the hills, and then there was this huge downhill, right, that Rich brought up to us, one of the other people that Casey knows from running a lot of marathons with. But it was a big deal too. You don't think that downhill would be that bad, but when it's really steep, it's not good for your legs, as many runners will know that, right? But the important thing to just, what I want to drive home is that feeling pretty good today, 24 hours after the race. And we actually went out last night, got some food, right?
Yeah.
What were we eating mostly?
Potatoes.
Just a ton of potatoes, yeah. Right? Obviously some protein too. Yeah. I had some beef. I had the ox burger actually last night. What'd you get?
And then I got like that ham. What was it? Like I can't remember, that Spanish pig.
Spanish pig, yeah. The Iberian, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So, so when you're doing something in another country, you're not going to be able to be as regimented about what you eat. But still, like, this is where you kind of go off of your body. So Casey looked over at me while she was eating the pizza and was just like, Coach, I can't. You know, then like I would have had her back up, because I would have known, like, she's eating, you know, like as much as she can. But now we know, like, post-race that, like, that mattered, right? And then it's really easy to eat after the race. Your body's craving it, like you want it. Pre-race, not so much. And then during the race, when you're kind of hot, you're sweaty, you're drinking a lot of water too, tough, right, to consume. But those Mortons were crucial. They contain fructose in them. They have a couple other things and some electrolytes as well. You can look those up, but they definitely made all the difference in the world. I think some of the people who are like, oh, that's not that big of a deal, were on the sideline and we were passing them up towards the end, and they probably should have finished at a better time than us, but because they didn't properly nourish during the marathon, they cramp up, right? So when you get into some of that heat, it's always gonna be an issue. So remember that, especially women, by the way, because in my experience of doing this coaching, that like women just have a tougher time consuming as it relates to how their image is / how their gut feels too. Like just feeling full isn't a very attractive feeling, right?
No, 100%. I said I had that food baby.
Yeah, exactly. So now we're getting ready to have, we're in by Marbella, like somewhere, right? We got a little villa, her and 2 other of my clients, and now we're gonna go eat some more food, recover a little bit,